Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, we haven't spoken about Illumina in detail for a while because of our focus on CRISPR and Bluebird. So now I'm catching up on everything, and Illumina has got a lot of news. I'm just going to give a quick primer of what has happened lately. We just had a news release maybe 4 or 5 hours ago about a US court decision on the FTC's appeal against Illumina, and the FTC has won. Of course, it's not a comprehensive win because FTC has to go back and do a little more work. But I want to trace the breakout of Illumina from the long-term bear channel, what propelled it, and what lies ahead of it. There are 2 or 3 aspects that we have to consider. So it's more or less a deep dive from my part. And of course, these are all my personal opinion, not financial advice. And many of you are well aware of Illumina, and you're also regular retail share traders. So I invite your feedback as well in the comment section below. Interaction is good. And in any case, put a like out there so that this video can benefit from the YouTube algorithm. So with that said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. Let me take you to the press release that came out just 4 hours ago talking about US court decision in favor of FTC against Illumina in the Grail case. It says Illumina deal sent back to FTC for review. And what has happened here is that the US appeals court found that Illumina acquisition of Grail violated antitrust laws, but sent the case back to the US FTC for a fresh review. The panel found Friday that while the sale is likely to substantially lessen competition, the federal regulator misapplied antitrust standards when conducting an internal assessment of the deal and determined that its decision should be vacated. The ruling by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is the latest twist in a transatlantic legal fight over the sale and will drag out any resolution for months more. It marks a key win for the regulator on its ability to challenge so-called vertical mergers, deals between companies that aren't direct competitors but operate in the same supply chain. The Fifth Circuit's opinion is an important victory for the antitrust enforcement because it clearly recognizes how vertical mergers can threaten competition. As a result, this decision marks a pivotal moment for those who want to protect open competitive markets and a huge win for consumers in modern economy. This is what the FTC spokesman Douglas Farrar said in a statement. So basically what has happened in this particular case is that the court has told FTC and Illumina that the Grail acquisition is definitely anti-competitive. We agree with that. And they have said that the way the FTC did the internal analysis was wrong. They want FTC to go back, use the proper standards, and come back to the court, and that's when they will give a decision. It seems the decision is a foregone conclusion that the US court would rule for FTC and against Illumina and require Illumina to dispose of Grail. So that's the first part of the news article. And if you look at the way the share price has moved, let me take you to the price chart, and then we'll come back to a few more press releases so that you can see a correlation of what's happening to the price based on the news. So this was the first press release that triggered the jump out of the long-term bear channel for Illumina. The headline reads, Illumina says there is outside interest in buying Grail. This was on December 1st, 2023. And if you go here and look at when we broke out of the bear channel, it was 1st of December 2023. And since then, we have been on our way up, and up, and it was a very sharp raise. And in fact, I will tell you how much it raised. If I use this widget here to cover, as of today, we have a gain of 24.78%. And before the drop that happened on Friday, the gain was actually close to 29%. So the whole gain was actually boosted by this particular news report. And in this news report, they are talking about submitting forms to SEC. It says it's early in the process, even before the EU's divestiture order came out. We had received inbound interest in Grail. So even before the EU order, they were getting interest in Grail from outside parties. But realistically, we are filing forms before the end of the year. So that kicks off the ability for us to engage with others that have an interest in Grail. That's the first time we will know if there's a counterparty and to what extent there is interest in Grail. So if you recollect, friends, earlier, I had expressed doubts that in the given market condition and knowing the fact that EU is forcing them to divest Grail and the FTC is on their neck, anybody who wants to buy Grail is going to look at a really sweet deal and they'll hammer the price down. There may be no interest. They will want to wait and bring the price down. But that doesn't seem to be the case, because based on what was revealed on 1st of December by the CFO of Illumina, there was already interest even before the EU ruling, and there was interest even recently. And they couldn't engage with any of them because they had not informed the SEC that they are planning to engage. So they said that they are going to file a Form 10 with the SEC, confidential Form 10, and inform SEC how they plan to handle this so that they can go ahead with and engage with those people. And that resulted directly in a spike in the share price of almost 29.39%, and the shares went parabolic. It's almost parabolic. There was a sudden spurt of strength out there, and true to their word, what they did was they submitted the Form 10 on 11th of December, and in the Form 10, they said that submission of the registration statement is an important next step in evaluating divestiture options for Grail. Illumina is committed to resolving all issues regarding Grail in a timely manner with the objective of achieving the maximum value for shareholders and the best outcome for Grail. This kind of a language is very similar to what the European Union wanted, European Commission wanted from Illumina for divestiture of Grail. The European Commission had said that Illumina should provide 2.5 years worth of funding that can meet the plans for Grail that they have currently in their books to make sure that Grail succeeds and that all status quo is restored for Grail as it was before, and the previous agreements that Illumina had with Grail, everything had to be restored. So I am thinking that even though the Form 10 is confidential, it's most likely to include all the conditions that European Commission had imposed on Illumina for Grail divestiture. So with the arrival of Form 10, it becomes even more imminent and more clearer to the market that Illumina is going to divest Grail. So if we go to the price chart and look at 11th December, this candle here, this is the candle that represents 11th December, which was a Monday. Monday and Tuesday, it was in the trading in the same range. Both days, it started at the same level and went up to the same level. I don't know, it's freaky. But the very next day after that, it gained a lot. Now, if I was to measure how much it gained from here to here, that's around 6.99%. So that was a gain of around 6.99%. And then it gapped up. A gap up is never a good thing. It has to be filled up. And the gap up has already been filled. So to that extent, this looks a bit healthy. And we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. RSI was also overbought. Momentum is above average. So there is a good deal of momentum going forward. But at this point of time, the investors are going to see the amount of mess that is involved in this particular company. Because today we saw this press release from Robbins LLC. It's a kind of reminder about class action lawsuit. This is different from what Carl Icahn is doing. So about this case, it says, according to the complaint in 2015, Illumina formed Grail as a corporate subsidiary to develop blood-based cancer detection tests. After several capital financing rounds, Illumina spun off Grail in February 2017 and retained a stake of approximately 20%. After Grail raised $1.9 billion through venture capital and strategic partners, Illumina announced plans to reacquire Grail in September 2020. The acquisition was completed on August 18, 2022, over the objections of European Commission. On August 10, 2023, Illumina revealed that SEC was investigating the company's statements regarding Grail, including conduct and compensation of certain members of Illumina and Grail management. On this news, the company's stock price fell $4.64 or 2.5% to close at 180.48 per share on August 11, 2023. And the complaint alleges that on October 17, 2023, Carl Icahn filed a complaint against current and former directors of Illumina, alleging direct and derivative claims of breaches of fiduciary duty. The complaint was filed under seal, but according to Reuters, Icahn told 13D Monitor Active Passive Investor Summit in New York on Tuesday that the lawsuit pertained to Illumina completing its acquisition of cancer diagnosis test maker Grail. On this news, the company's stock fell another $7.42 or 5.6% to close at 124.45 per share on October 18, 2023. So basically, we have a lot of lawyers who are going to make money out of this Illumina situation. And this is not a good look for most of the shareholders who are looking at the company, because at the end of the day, Illumina has to pay out money and the shareholders are going to be that much poorer because the share value will be impacted by it. However, at the same time, there's a tussle going on with the European Union where the appeal has been made by Illumina, and they are at a kind of a standoff, and I think that will also be resolved very quickly. So basically what is happening with the European Commission is that European Commission has got a rule on its books for anti-competitive activities, which says that even if a company is not meeting the minimum thresholds of a vertical merger, which means two companies in the same supply chain but not competing with each other, if one takes over the other, that's what they are looking at. And then the European Commission can still rule on those kind of mergers and can take action to prevent them from happening. And what Illumina is saying is that this is totally wrong, and EU Commission or European Commission is overreaching. Whereas the European Commission and lawyers are saying that this is the law and this is how we apply it. This is an extraordinary case and it requires the appropriate section that we are using. What Illumina and Grail want to do is to rewrite the antitrust laws for European Commission, and that's not acceptable. So they are in polar opposites. And I have a feeling that the European Commission is likely to prevail over this. And friends, if you look at the overall situation, we have seen the departure of Francis de Souza and the chairman of the board, two of the allies who actually engineered this whole thing, in my opinion. So they are gone. We have Carl Icahn with one director on the board. And Carl Icahn has said that he's very happy and has full confidence in the new CEO. The board has also said they have full confidence in the CEO. So I am thinking that the CEO needs a little bit of time to comprehensively clear out this issue. He's starting with a clean slate, and he doesn't have to worry about too many of the things that happened in the past because he did not do it. Of course, he has to worry about it as CEO of Illumina, but it's not going to be any kind of mental pressure on him from that perspective. But he has the opportunity now to take advantage of the US court ruling and take advantage of the European Union stipulation and take advantage of the fact that external parties are interested in buying Grail. And I think as investors, we have to look at two things. The first thing is, how soon can Grail be divested? And what is it going to cost Illumina, right? So that's one part. The sooner it gets done, the better the prospects. The less it costs Illumina, the better the prospects. And if the prospects are better, then the share price is likely to go up accordingly. The other aspect that we as investors have to look at is that as soon as this controversy is behind us, the management can focus 100% on maintaining their technological lead in genomic sequencers and dedicating themselves to have a razor-sharp focus on pushing the cutting edge and making their products even more competitive and more powerful so that they can capture a bigger part of the market, work with greater margins, and improve the business overall. So when that prospect also becomes clearer, we can see the share price of Illumina going up. And it's my personal opinion, of course, not financial advice, that I am thinking that by the first quarter of next year, if, as the market expects, interest rates start to be cut, then I'm thinking that from probably by the end of January, markets will start picking up, and Illumina will also pick up along with it. And let us say somewhere around March, if we get news that US court has ruled in favor of FTC and that the European Union has prevailed on their part, and Illumina decides to divest because Form 10 has already been submitted to the SEC with plans for divestiture. So there is nothing stopping Illumina from closing this Grail chapter by June of next year, or at the most by the end of third quarter of next year. Even the news that it's being closed and terms being released can give a boost to the share price, assuming that the terms are not too bad. So I'm cautiously optimistic that Illumina is going to be on a very good wicket by the end of 2024, and it can start moving towards its previous highs. So my friends, that's what my personal opinion is. Of course, this is not financial advice. I do not own any Illumina shares. I plan to buy some if they come below 100 by any chance, and then I will see what happens. So friends, I would like to have your feedback. Some of you already hold Illumina, some of you work in the industry. So if you have any comments, please don't hesitate to put them. The community and I will also benefit from it. And also, please do not forget to press a like out there. It's a very small act on your part, but it helps the YouTube algorithm to farm out our videos to more people. And as we have more subscribers, it financially helps keep the channel going, and it helps me to put my time in this on a long-term basis. So I thank you for all your support, and look forward to the new year and try to increase the programming that we have. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.